everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Relax.Cut.Glue. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you guys here with me today. So today I'm going to show you not one, not two, but 3 tutorials.
That's right.
I'm going to show you all the things that you guys have been flooding my comment section with. Like one, how do I make my paper?
Nicole, how do you make a paper? Tell me how to make a paper. Did you do a video on the paper? Nicole, paper. Got it. Note to self, show people how I make the paper.
So yes, I'm going to show you guys how I made the paper. It's very simple. You guys are going to be like, why didn't I think of that? And you're going to love it. Okay, so I made some paper yesterday. Here it is. This has oranges, regular coffee dyed paper, purples, yellows, oranges, greens, the whole shebang, right? Okay, and then this is my glue book. This is my fall hygge side, and then when I flip it, I have my happy Halloween side. I've not started on my Halloween side yet. I have only been working in my hygge side, or hygge, there I went, said it again, hygge side. So, okay, moving along. I'm also going to show you how I made this vintage tape that I put throughout my glue book. Anywhere there was a tear or anything like that, because, you know, when paper's wet, it tears very easily. And, you know, little tiny nicks and stuff I don't care about, especially because I'm using mine specifically as a glue book. And since I'll be gluing on top of things, I figured that would be, you know, I'd be sealing it anyways, right? So yeah, I'm going to show you, where's more of that tape? I know I have, oh, here's some more. Like right here, I had a huge rip, and instead of just, you know, throwing this half of the paper away, I just added some vintage tape, which I think looks really creepy, and I love it. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to do these papers. I'm going to show you how to make the vintage tape, and then I'm also going to show you how I made the glue book out of a file folder. Now, here's the thing. You can use this as a journal. You don't need permission from anybody to do whatever you want. I call this a glue book because for me, all I do is glue images in it. And one of the biggest differences I think that there is between a glue book and a journal is a glue book is flat surfaces because we're just gluing images down. Whereas a junk journal, you know, you're adding tucks and flips and flops and pockets and, you know, all these things that create some bulk. And I think that's kind of the main difference. Now, if you choose to merge the two together and still want to call it a glue book or still want to call it a junk journal, you are 100% free to do that. Do not let anybody on the internet tell you what you call your art is wrong. So that is that. I just need to get that out there. So just because I don't write in mine doesn't mean you can't write in yours. You can do whatever you want. It's your book, right? It's your book. Okay, I just had to get that out there. So here's my paper. I suppose we should start with this. So I'm just going to give you the basics of what I did because there are a ton of tutorials out there on how to do coffee dyed paper. So what I did was, to get these vibrant colors, is I used, and this is where I feel like a lot of you seasoned crafters are going to kill yourselves for not thinking of this first. Maybe you have, I don't know, the world's a big place. I'm not the only one in it. I used Astro Bright paper. You can get these, here, let me take this off. Let's go like that. It won't be so shiny. Astro Bright's paper. You can get these on Amazon. You can find them at stores like, you know, Walmart and probably Target and things like that. I just get them online. I think it's cheaper. But yeah, so Astro Bright is computer paper. It's a little bit thicker. Well, actually these aren't. This is 24-pound paper. So you can run these through your computer or your computer printer. And I add coffee to these papers. And that's what gives me the neat design that I get because these are dyed papers, obviously, right? They're not white. Okay, hold on.
Get in here, you piece of crap. Oh my God. Dude, I don't have time for this. Get in there.
Okay. Because these papers are dyed, what happens is when I layer them on top of each other, the ink kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Bleeds, right? It bleeds. So let's get back to the basics. What I do is I get a big pan and I get some coffee. I used to use instant coffee from the Dollar Tree, and then I would just heat it up in the, I dump some coffee in the big, huge pan like you would put a turkey in, and one that's fairly deep because you're going to be adding liquids to it. And I lay my papers down one at a time. And you guys, everybody does this different. I layer my papers like this. You can see that I had the green on top of it. These papers bleed because there's color in them. So when you layer them on top of each other, you get the color from the other paper on top of it, if that makes sense. Like in my book here, see how the colors are. Let's see here. See, you can see here I had some green, and probably the dark green was on this side. Here, you can still see that the green leaked on there, and this one. And then I also had some red in here, and that kind of blended in. So yeah. And when you add the coffee over the top of these colored papers, it dilutes some of the brightness of them because the ink leaks. And when you layer them with different colors on top of each other, they bleed a little bit. And so you get that color transfer on there. And that's what gives you that grunge and these beautiful faded colors with different colors mixed in. Like this looks like an autumn leaf to me with the green in there and the orange and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you dye it just like you would any other coffee dyed paper. Coffee, a big pan, you put your paper in it, layer it however you want, soak it, and then you bake them in the oven piece by piece. And I'm not going to give you all those instructions because I feel like it can get a little dangerous sometimes, and depending on who you watch, everybody has a different thing. Basically, you have your oven at a low temperature, and you put your sheets on it, or your sheets of paper on a sheet pan one at a time, and you bake them for a couple minutes. You always keep your eye on your paper. You are putting paper in an oven. So, girl, do not walk away. And when you're using coffee, I feel like it stinks to high heaven. I am a coffee drinker and I love it, but when you're burning, well, you're not burning, but you're drying paper that's soaked in coffee in the oven, it gets a little stinky, in my opinion. So I put my fan on my microwave. I've got my, air humidifier, air purifier on. Like, I try and get the smell out. So anyways, that's what I did. I used Astro Bright paper. I put it in some warm coffee. Now on these papers, when I did them, I did not use warm coffee. And you can see here, there must have been an air bubble because the coffee didn't get on this part. And I'm totally okay with that. I think it looks cool. So I do think using warmer coffee helps. And what I've been doing lately is just using whatever coffee is left over in my pot after I'm done drinking it for the day. And I use that to make some coffee dyed paper. You can air dry them as well if you don't want to use the oven. So anyways, okay, so that's how you make the paper. You use Astro Brights and coffee. Okay, so we got through that. So let's get on to making our glue book or journal, whatever you want to use yours for. So I picked these two. I'm going to use these for the covers. And with mine, I flipped mine like this, so each side is different. I'm going to do that with this one too. So what I used to make this glue book was a file folder from the Dollar Tree. Super cheap, very easy to do. You can get these in a pack of 10. You can even get colored ones. The only reason why I'm not using colored is because I feel like when you open it and if like everything in here was orange, it's just too much. I kind of like just the tan, like a neutral background, if that makes sense. So you can totally use a colored one. Okay, so when you get your file folder, it's folded like this. But if you look really closely, you can see two lines here where it folds to make your file folder bigger if you need to. And I'm going to. So I'm going to make this a 9x6 glue book just because I feel like that's a good size and it's easier that way. But first I'm going to do the height. So let's make this, let's go this way. It's just easier. 9 inches tall. So let's do that. Now for me, I saved these pieces to make pockets at the bottom. You can do that or you don't have to. Okay, and now we're making it 6. And this is where it's not tricky at all, but I just wanted to show you. So where that there's 2 lines here that have been scored. So there's the line that's folded. Okay, there's 3 lines. The line that's folded, this middle line, and this far line. And this is where we're gonna fold it on this far line right here, but I'm gonna wait to fold it until after I cut it. So this side, I'm going to open it up. My scored lines are on this side right now. They're on this side. So I'm gonna line up this crease right here where this folds to 6 inches, because it's gonna be 6 inches wide. And I'm just gonna set that aside. And then I'm gonna flip it around, and where those score lines are, they're really hard to see right now, but I can see, you'll be able to see when you're at home doing this. On the computer, it's a little harder. So I'm going to line up where that score line is that I'm gonna fold in a second at 6 inches as well. Cut that off, save that for something else. Okay, so now your file folder looks like this. However, once we fold it, it will be even. So I'm gonna take that second score line and just fold this down and get my bone folder, give it a nice little crease-a-rooney. And then when you open it up, you have your glue book / journal, whatever you wanna call it, is 9 by 6. And then you have this kind of 1/2 inch spine with the score mark right down the middle. Super easy. I probably didn't even need to explain it, but just in case you've never worked with a file folder, I wanted to just in case. Okay, so we know this is 9 by 6, so I'm gonna cut my paper down. Okay, so this needs to be at 6, we know that. So I'm just going to, I don't want it to be exactly the same size as the book, so I'm just gonna scooch it over just a little smidge. What's this, like 1/8 of an inch or something? Something like that. Okay, so it's just a little bit shy of that, and now I'm gonna go to 9 inches and then just a little bit shy, 1/8 of an inch, I believe that is. All right, so I got that. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Take that, take it to 6. And whatever that line is, don't make fun of me. Okay, and then we'll go to this one. So we're done with that. And now we just need to glue these on. So for me, I like to open up my file folder for this part. I just feel like it's way easier. I mean, common sense, right? Okay. Okay, so now if you want to ink your papers, now is the time to do it. So I'm just going to give that a quick little ink so that the white part of the paper doesn't show. And I'll ink around the glue book as well when I'm done. But okay, and then I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to use some double-sided tape as well as a glue stick. Okay. So now I'm going to, oops, put this down. Okay, I'm gonna get my rag. I'm gonna push this down, really work out any air bubbles that could be in there. All right, okay, and since I'm gonna do a flip one, I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Okay. Whoa, Cousin Eddie just pulled up across the street from me. Who are you and what are you doing? Like a massive motorhome pulling a car just pulled up across the street from my house. Like, can I help you, sir? What are you doing? Holy smokes, that thing is huge. They must live in it. Okay, so I'm gonna make this piece 3/4 of an inch. I'm just using an old piece of an orange file folder. And I'm gonna put that right there. So this is 3/4 of an inch. Oh, I didn't cut its length. Oops. I'm gonna ink this. Oh my God, it got out. Don't empty your shitter. I don't see him, but I can see his little feet from the other side. What are they doing? Oh, there he goes. Oh, I know what he's doing. Okay, okay. All right, I get it, I get it. Okay, moving on. Moving on, this poor nice man I just called Cousin Eddie. His little home is way nicer than Cousin Eddie's. This is a beautiful motorhome. Or RV, whatever. That right there, Clark, is an RV.
Oh, I gotta crack myself up. Everybody's probably like, what the hell is she even talking about?
Okay. I'm just going to use a little glue on here because I'm lazy. Not because I'm lazy. This is a good, strong holding glue. I don't know. I just kind of always just use glue for this part. One, because this is thick because it's part of another file folder. So it's kind of like cardstock. If I'm using thin paper, I do not like to use glue. I feel like it just warps it and it looks hideous. It's hideous. Okay, so let's bring this down just a little bit. Or not, whatever. See, it already stuck. Whatever. Okay. There we go. So now we have our glue book. Look how cute that is. And then you go, boop. There it is. Okay, and then you can line the inside if you want. You can add some pockets. Do whatever you'd like. And I have 2 signatures, so all I'm gonna do is, there's this middle line still in here that's scored, that it came that way, and then here are the 2 lines where the file folder bends. So there's this thin line right in between here, and I'm just gonna put 3 dots on either side of that middle line. I'm gonna go down 1.5 inches and put a little dot, and then I'm gonna come up 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna put a little boop right there. So we've got 1.5, 4.5, 7.5. So basically it'll be even, you know, going all the way down. I just eyeball it. So I'm gonna go back and I just kind of do the same thing in the middle here. I'm just gonna put the little thing, and then right here. Okay. So now I'm just going to punch the holes in my folder so that I can put my signatures in. Okay, so we've got that. And then I used brown string on my other one. I think I will do that again. I'm just using embroidery floss. It's my favorite to use. And I'm gonna get my needle out. Okay, and the general rule is to go 3 times the length of your book. So I'm gonna do that. Thread my needle. Ah, I just licked my finger instead of the thread. Wow. My thumb's all, take me out to dinner first. Jeez. Straight up licking me. Okay. So I got that. Okay, so this is how I do my signatures. You do them how you want to do it, okay? I'm not saying your way is wrong. Everybody does it differently. So this part's not really a tutorial. It's just how I do it. So I take out the middle part of my signature. I fold it inside out. And I go right up to where the holes are, and I give myself about 1/4 inch on either side here, right? Make it even. Again, I'm an eyeballer, and I don't know why mine usually come out straight, almost always. I'm also a perfectionist, so. Okay, so there we go. And then I open it back up. Put this back in. I'm gonna tap it on my table. Sorry, I know that's shaking the camera, but I wanna make sure that all the spines are pushed really close together, okay? And you also wanna make sure that you know which part is top and which part is bottom. because your holes will not always line up. If your signatures are coming out super crooked, but you measured really well, chances are you have your signature upside down. If you took that signature out and reversed it, I bet you it would fit perfect. I think that's just a common mistake that a lot of people make. So sometimes I'll put a little T right here for top. All right, I'm gonna sew in my signatures now. I've showed this in other videos. I'm not gonna do a huge in-depth tutorial on how to put in a signature, but I go through the middle of the inside into the middle of the book. I come out and I go back in the bottom hole, and sorry, I'm a hold the paper to your face kind of person. As I'm on camera, I'm having a problem. I'm going to find that little hole there. There we go. Now I got it. Goes straight through. Pull that. Leave some tail. Put your papers back even again. They just wobble around. Go through. Now we're going through the top hole. This is like a way smoother process when you're not filming, I promise. Okay. I don't know why it is, but when you film a video, it's like nothing goes right. Okay. So come out the middle. Make sure that your strings are on either side of your middle hole. So you kind of pull it tight. I'm not going to say the word I used to say because sometimes I said it wrong and people in the comments got my ass about it. Like, give me a break, you guys. I'm human. I have fibro fog and I'm trying to film a tutorial on the internet. It's hard. It's very hard to concentrate and craft and teach at the same time. Okay, so I just cut those off. And we have our first signature in the book. Okie dokie, let's do the next one. And because this is super fluffy right now, I'm just gonna put a binder clip on this just so it's not like all up in my grill while I'm trying to do this. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing. And make sure that my strings are tight. Again, not saying the other word. Freaking grammar police will be on my butt. Okay. There we go. And there we go. I always do 3 knots. It could be excessive, but that's just how I roll, people. That's just how I roll. Okay. So now we have our second signature in here. Woo! That feels nice. That feels real nice. Nice and fluffy. Look at that. Oh, that's so nice. I want to ink my edges before. I should have done this before I did all this. But I want to add some corners to this. And I want to do that before. Or I want to ink first. Okay, inked that a little bit. So now I'm going to add my corners. All I do is add a little bit of glue inside of here. Okay, where is, there it is. Okay, everyone, so here's your glue book. You have this side, and then when you flip it over, you have this side, and you can make them 2 different things. You can make one Halloween and one fall, like I did, or one Thanksgiving, one Halloween, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's my glue book. Okay, so on this glue book, and so I did not add pockets to this. If I was going to do that, I would have done it before I put the corners, but you can still add pockets. They don't have to be right at the bottom. You know, you can add a pocket like right here, you know what I mean? And still have plenty of room to put stuff. So you don't have to put it all the way down. or you could put it right to where the corners meet, whatever. You can even go this way, you know, add something right here so you just have a little tuck to kind of tuck in a couple things. So yeah, don't worry about that. But yeah, you could still totally have pockets. This one, my paper's ripped because I soaked my paper for too long. I got distracted and I was doing something, and then I realized my paper had been in there forever. So if you leave your paper in there too long, it'll get really soft and it tears very easily. It's very delicate when it's wet. So I had a ton of tears on that. And this one, I don't have any tears, but I'm still going to show you how I made the tape. Okay. So I learned how to make this tape from Johnny at the Junk Journal shop. She learned it from Rosemary Morris, and so I'm going to show you what I did. So all you do is you take, you know, a piece of plastic, something that you can still peel the tape back off of. The back, if you use up a sheet of stickers, and then the back of that is still, you still have that back part after you rip off all the sticker paper. Put your piece of tape down, and this is just, you know, regular tape. Just, you know, you put some tape down. Look, I saved all my little bits because these are valuable. So I'm just going to take a piece of tape. I'm just going to make a little small one right here because that's all I have room for on this piece. So you put it down, and then you take some alcohol ink, and I had this one. It's butterscotch. I've had it for like, I don't even know, many years, okay? many years. And I'm just going to open it up and put a little blob down. Whoa, it doesn't take much. All right. And then take something and just kind of tap-a-roo over the top of it. Here, I'll just kind of go back over some of these because I have extra ink here. Why not? And just like that, voila, you have vintage tape. How stinking cool is that? So that is what I use, and it dries super fast because it's alcohol based, right? Because it's alcohol ink. And then you have this tape that looks vintagey that you can use on your projects. Okie dokie. Wow, we got so much done today, guys. 3 tutorials in 1. It's a banger. Sorry, just trying to sound like the cool YouTubers, you know.
Yo guys, this one's a banger. You don't want to miss it.
I'm such a little butthole. Okay.
All right, guys. I hope you had fun hanging out with me. I had fun hanging out with you. I hope you guys have a fabulous day and an even better weekend. And until next time, bye.